Could the Leafs be eyeing a talented center still in the early stages of his career to elevate their game? With the trade deadline looming, whispers of a potential trade involving a first-round pick and a promising prospect have fans on the edge of their seats. This player has the skill set to transform our lineup, and if the rumors hold true, it would be a bold statement from management as they gear up for a serious playoff push. Don't miss out on all the updates. Subscribe. Now and drop a like to join the conversation. The Toronto Maple Leafs are once again at the center of trade rumors, and this time, it's about the intriguing possibility of acquiring Dylan Cozens from the Buffalo Sabres. According to NHL insider Kevin Weeks, as the trade deadline approaches, on March 7th, the Leafs are in dire need of additional center depth, and Cozens could be a perfect fit. Now let's dive into what this means for our beloved Maple Leafs. Cozens, a former first-round pick, is just 23 years old and has shown flashes of brilliance in his career. Despite a somewhat disappointing season so far, with only 26 points in 53 games, we can't forget that he had a breakout season just 2 years ago, scoring 31 goals and totaling 68 points. That kind of potential is hard to overlook, especially when you consider the Leafs' current roster needs. However, it's essential to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Cozens carries a hefty salary cap hit of $7.1 million per season for the next 7 years. This raises an immediate question: how can the Leafs manage to fit him under the cap? To make a trade work, they would likely need the Sabres to retain some salary or involve a third team to facilitate the deal. Alternatively, the Leafs might have to move some of their own salary to accommodate Cozens. Looking at the assets the Leafs would need to part with, it's clear this wouldn't be a simple transaction. Reports suggest that acquiring Cozens would almost certainly require them to give up one of their top prospects, like Easton Cowan or Fraser Minton, along with at least a first-round pick. That's a hefty price to pay for a player who has struggled this season, but when you consider the long-term potential and his contract, it could be worth it. But let's be honest here, there's a lot of emotion tied to this decision. Cozens is a young player who has the ability to grow into a significant role with the Leafs, potentially becoming a top-tier center to complement our already talented roster. This might be the kind of move that not only bolsters our chances this season, but also sets us up for sustained success in the future. Now, I can already hear the debate starting. Do you think this is the best decision? Honestly, I'm torn. On one hand, the potential upside of Cozens is tantalizing. On the other hand, giving up key prospects and a first-round pick creates a lot of risk. Are we ready to gamble on a player who hasn't quite lived up to expectations this season? It's a lot to consider, and I want to hear your thoughts. The impact of these decisions is profound. If the Leafs can pull off a deal for Cozens, it could shift the entire landscape of our playoff run. Imagine adding a young, skilled center who could immediately contribute and grow alongside our core players. The excitement of seeing him in a Leafs uniform is palpable, but we have to weigh that against the cost of our future. The buzz surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs has reached a fever pitch lately, especially with insider Kevin Weeks dropping some tantalizing hints about their interest in Dylan Cozens from the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, can you imagine Dylan Cozens donning the blue and white? It's exciting to think about how he could fit into this team and elevate their game. But let's break this down a bit. Because while the prospect is exhilarating, it also comes with its fair share of complexities. Cozens, a first-round pick from 2019, has proven himself as a dynamic player with all the physical attributes you want in a center. Standing at 6'3" and weighing in at 190 pounds, he's not just a big body, he's a playmaker. This season, he's already tallied 10 goals and 16 assists. Last year, he had a breakout year with 31 goals, showing us he has the potential to be a significant offensive contributor. You have to wonder how much of that scoring touch could thrive alongside the likes of Austin Matthews and John Tavares. Just picture that three-headed monster on the ice during critical playoff moments. It could change everything for the Leafs. But let's not kid ourselves. Acquiring Cozens isn't going to be a walk in the park. The Sabres are in a bit of a limbo in the Atlantic Division, and with several teams eyeing Cozens, the price tag is bound to be high. Remember, He just signed a 7-year deal worth nearly $50 million in 2022. He's not just a player, he's an investment. And like any smart franchise, the Leafs are going to need to navigate their salary cap carefully if they want to make this happen. What does this mean for the Leafs? Well, they might have to look at retaining some of Cozens' salary to make the numbers work, and they may have to part with some young talent like Easton Cowan or Nick Robertson. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially for fans who have high hopes for these young players. But if you're serious about contending for a Stanley Cup, sometimes you have to make those tough calls. Honestly, I'm torn here. On one hand, adding a player like Cozens could give the Leafs that extra edge they've been missing in the playoffs. He's a winner in the face-off circle and can take on tough defensive assignments. But on the other hand, do you really want to give up promising prospects who could develop into stars themselves? It's a balancing act that General Manager Brad Treliving will have to navigate with precision. And let's talk about the emotional aspect. As a die-hard Leafs fan, it's hard not to dream about what a trade for Cozens could mean for our chances this season. The idea of finally breaking the playoff curse and making a deep run with a roster that includes Cozens is enough to make any fan's heart race. But remember, every decision has consequences, every trade comes with risks. So what do you think? Is trading for Cozens the right move for the Maple Leafs? Should they pull the trigger, or should they hold on to their young talent for the future? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Your opinions matter, and this is a debate worth having. In the end, whether or not the Leafs decide to make a move, one thing is clear. The fans' hopes and dreams are tied to these decisions. We all want to see our team hoist the Stanley Cup, and every strategic move they make could either bring us closer to that goal or set us back. So, let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all the latest Maple Leafs news. And please, activate that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Let's go, Leafs.